From the harbour lights of Carrick to the shores of far away, every heart beats Rangers, every soul will proudly say, we're the voices in the terraces, the hands that build the dream. Now the people own the Rangers, we're the lifeblood of the team. From Carrick to the mountains, to the cities around the globe, our colours fly together and the black and amber glows. We're the people's club forever, we'll sing it loud and true. Carrick Rangers owned by all, the best for me and you. From Belfast to New York, from Sydney to the Clyde, every fan's a family member standing shoulders side by side. No rich man owns our spirit, no king can buy our pride. We're 1,000 hearts united and the world's our stadium wide. From Carrick to the mountains, to the cities around the globe, our colours fly together and the black and amber glows. We're the people's club forever, we'll sing it loud and true. Carrick Rangers owned by all, the best for me and you.
Welcome to episode 6. Can you guys believe we're at episode 6 already?
Yes. I believe it, man.
It seems like it was just an idea yesterday, and now we're all the way up to episode 6. And how many thousands of views? A lot.
Been doing great so far, yeah. Thanks for everybody who's been joining us, and happy to be back after the Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, and this is a huge we are basically kicking off what is a huge soccer weekend. I mean, you got the World Cup draw tomorrow, which apparently this is a huge thing, the World Cup draw, huh?
Yeah, and it's going to be in the U.S. For part of the games, so maybe some of us will get an opportunity to go to it, and a lot of the investors hopefully will as well.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I see that the prices are like astronomical already. I started reading an article that we have on Bleacher Brothers, and I didn't get to finish it, but yeah, there's some kind of big party tomorrow, which I got an email about a little while ago from Inter Miami. It says you can go down to this, I guess it's a viewing party in Miami for the draw. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen all the way to Miami. But we got World Cup, then we get the MLS Cup, and we got Carrick Rangers on Saturday morning again. So, man, welcome everybody for tuning in. Why are our names not up here tonight? I'm AJ. You got Scotty at least in the middle with me, and Andy on the other side. Love the attire for. I missed it, Steven. You got to keep them up there, buddy, so we can read them. Not just 1 second. For everyone, yes, we are all sporting. And Andy, Andy's got the ugly Christmas sweater going on there. Is it that ugly in person? Because it looks kind of good, actually.
No, I like it. It's not really a sweater per se. It's more like a active shirt, but it's pretty warm, and yeah, it's really good quality. So recommend picking it up. Probably still time before Christmas to get it delivered.
So it's a good Christmas gift, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's the U.S. Shop has a lot of good Christmas stuff for Rangers this year. It ships locally, or not locally, but domestically. So can definitely get it probably within the next couple of weeks before Christmas.
Well, I hope that it's nice, because I sent one to Uncle Rico for Christmas, because when I saw it, it just screamed Rico to me. So I'm assuming that the next time Rico's on, I don't know if it's next week or the week after, he'll be sporting it.
How's the mailman gonna find him to deliver it? Because according to him, he's off the grid, man.
Oh, you have no idea. I texted him and said, "Hey, I need your address," and he said, "Why?" Because I'm going to send you something. What are you going to send me? And it finally got a P.O. box. That's the best I got, was a P.O. box. I didn't get an address, but I got a P.O. box. So
that's smart.
Anyway, yeah, Rico is
drawing it to him.
Completely off the grid. So, hey, let's start by recapping last week. All right, and I'll go on record and say I was not able to see last week's match, but pre-show, you guys are telling me that we upped our play, or we upped our game plan, or something, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I thought so.
Yeah, tougher opponent, but we did a really good job.
And so 3-1. You're telling me that's close. So I did get a highlight reel, which I just kind of narrowed down to 38 seconds here, but and maybe I would have made this longer if I would have seen the match and had more to go off of. What are we looking at here, guys? That was Aiden Steele. Now, this stadium where they played, it looks humongous. It looks empty when you watch the video here, but I'm assuming this is a really big stadium because it looked like a real soccer stadium almost.
Yeah, it's one of the bigger stadiums, I think, in the league. What we just saw was Aiden Steele's goal for Carrick Rangers, and it was really, really good that kind of the defense sort of looked like they were looking for maybe a stoppage or handball or something, and Steele just kind of saw it through, and that was kind of crucial that tied it up. Before that point, it was about 11 minutes in that McKee scored for Linfield, and they were kind of ahead, but really most of the game up to that point had been pretty evenly matched, I think. Scotty, I know you did a lot of research. Do you want to kind of break it down a little bit?
Yeah, if we could have played, I don't know if it was the venue, because Windsor Park, it's over 18,000 seats. So, I mean, you could have 3,000 people there and it's going to sound empty, but I don't know if it was all venue and meeting the match, but the strategy was there. There was every possession was a buildup. We had over 300 successful pass completions moving in. We even had, won the touches inside the box. We had an advantage in corner kicks, an advantage in fouls, an advantage in free kicks. And that kick, the goal that he scored was one of the 22 touches that we had inside the box. And one of the big things that I noticed too when I was breaking it down is if you look at the previous 4 matches, we had 80 long balls against Bangor, 60 against the Crusaders, 72 against Portadown. And we only had 47 long balls against Linfield. So the strategy worked. We didn't have to rely on the long ball. We were able to move it up. It was 55-45 possession percentage, but we were a lot more effective in what we were doing with less possession time than we were in previous matches. So, I mean, it worked. I liked it. I don't know why they don't explore using that against less, because Linfield is who they are, right? So why wouldn't that work against Glenavon or whoever? So
so you're the analytical guy out of the group here. So analytically, are we making progress? Are we going backwards? Are we just sort of staying where we're at? I mean, what are our, and I'm going to defer to you guys, especially Scotty, because you were digging into these numbers all day long. And 2, you guys are much more footy savvy than I am.
Well, I think Andy's probably more of the analytical guy, but I like to dig for the evidence and put the puzzle together that shows that you're making progress or not making progress. And there's more digging I'll do later to kind of understand the difference. Because if you notice the games where there's a different coach, there seems to be a different approach. Whether that's by design or not, you do see some differences in the performance, not just with the eye test, but with the statistical breakdowns that shows what this. I don't know if we're really digressing, because from one week to the next, it's kind of going back and forth. But I would say that there's potential there to be more consistent than we've been. And I think it just depends on the strategy that's employed from one week to the next. Andy, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think a lot of it in this game was just the quality of the opponent was a lot higher this time. So that we held up pretty well with Linfield says a lot. Particularly Nathan Gartside, again, our goalkeeper, who actually just got named the Player of the Month for November by the Carrick Rangers supporters. He had a couple really good stops again just before the end of the first half where he stopped Callum Morrison and Chris McKee again. And I think a lot of it is, in addition, Peter Thompson filled in as the acting manager since Stephen Baxter was out. And yeah, I really like that build-up play a lot more. And I think I think the team was moving forward positively. It was just a matter of we've got some really tough opponents right now. Unfortunately, Linfield, I believe, is third in the league. And then we'll talk about Coleraine later, but they're number 2. So the scores right now might not show that we're getting the points, but I think we're playing better.
Andy, you got a fan. Keith CB commented, "I watched this for Andy."
Thank you. That's my buddy Keith, who grew up in the burbs with me, and he lives down in Austin, Texas now. How's it going, Keith?
Oh, yeah. I see the horns and the Texas state flag emoji.
He's always doing the hook 'em, and I'm doing the metal sign. So, but thanks for watching, buddy.
So how if we look moving ahead at December, so this week coming up, we all right. You were just talking about them. How do you say it? Coleraine?
That's how I do. However, we have had a couple of corrections from our friends overseas, and I'm going to go with that for now. I believe it's Coleraine.
All right. Well, we'll just call them the second place team at this moment, however you say it. But where are we? Have we played them already this year?
Yeah, we did. We played them, I think, about 2.5 months ago, and that we actually played pretty well. Lost 2-1, but we actually held our own pretty well that game. So hoping that we do well. But we're going to be on the road this time, and I think they have a little bit of a fair home support. So going to be definitely a tough one. But that being said, I think we could be in it.
Yeah, they're a good team, and they also have 2 of the league's top 3 goal scorers, Joel Cooper and Matthew Shevlin. I think they have 10 goals each, so they've scored 20 goals. I don't even think we've scored that many as a team. So they're active. So we've definitely got the work cut out for us. So it's going to be interesting to see if, it's easy for us to sit back and look at things from a Monday morning quarterbacking, so to speak. But I wonder if there's discussions on how the strategy worked at Linfield and something similar this week to neutralize, such savants.
Yeah, the other part that's going to be a little rough with the Coleraine game is we do have a few injuries, but kind of our problem is Jack Scott, who's been one of our best players. He is actually a loanee from Coleraine, so he's not able to play the game.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so
we're not affiliated, and I don't know that we can or we can't, but this website, Scotty, that you got me on, this is a great place for people to go.
Yes.
NIFootballleague.com. And this is deep. I didn't know this existed because I've looked high and low to find this site. And I was told that it didn't exist.
Well, it's, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't dig into it a little bit more either. And literally today I typed in Northern Ireland football in Google, and it's not even the top 3 or 4, I think even 5 links. You have to keep scrolling down. But nonetheless, here it is. Looks like the official league. It's wonderful. I love it. So NIFootballleague.com for those of you that are owners and you really want to start getting your feet a little sunk deeper in the soil of what we're needing to know about, go visit the site, play around with it.
Yeah, this is fantastic, and I'm scoping out who we're playing this month, and I'm not finding a lot of good news, but we can change that news because it's the future, and we can control the future. We just can't control the past.
Yeah, the hope I think is really especially Coleraine and Larne are both well up in the league. But the hope is we can get a few points from these, and then the key is right after that Crusaders game at
Women's Premiership. There's a more time in it. It's a beautiful team.
Yeah, there. The hope is we can maybe open it up, maybe get some loan signees in January when the window opens, and kind of get some more blood in addition to getting some of our injured players back. But kind of every point counts in the league, and whatever we could get, especially from those top table games, is going to be essential come end of the year to get either up into the top 6 or playoffs sitting. But yeah, to Scotty's point on this site, definitely it's a little bit harder to find a lot of the information about the league. But the thing is, stuff is like this is out there, so we'll definitely try to continue to promote that. And a great find here. So we're well ahead of where it used to be, where our friend Michael Becker said on the second episode that he used to look for the box score weekly to follow Chelsea or Arsenal in the league. There's a lot of info out there. It's just kind of, you have to know where to look. I'd also suggest Michael Clark's podcast as well, which is really good. He has different players on from the teams each week, and my understanding is he's a Rangers fan directly too. So kind of a lot to get some more personal information on the players and get a little more background and get more invested in the teams.
Yeah, and I like that you can look into the other divisions, and this ain't to be negative and continue down the bad news, but if we're going to be dealing with relegation, we've had conversations in the past about how hard it is to get out of that championship once you go down. And I believe it's pronounced Lotgall. I actually looked it up. I think it's Lotgall. I thought it was Lufgall, but anyway, Lotgall that got demoted from our league last season. They're mired at 6th, 14 points out of first. Now they don't look like they're really in danger of relegation again, but 6th, 14 points out doesn't look like they're looking to come back and rejoin us anytime soon. So as you're following the leagues, and I know as I start to get a little bit more intimate with what's going on over there, it kind of makes you hope we can get things at least into 10th place or 9th place, man. So anyway,
doesn't matter how
you can even look at some of these other teams and kind of get used to who we're playing in the Irish Cup. Like Armagh City. Correct my pronunciation on that too, but Armagh City is dead last in the championship. They've only got 12 points, and they're the ones that eliminated us a month ago in the Irish Cup. So it's like, holy crap. No wonder it's tough to get out of there. That's some, solid competitions.
Well, this is exactly what I needed, because I've been looking for this, and it's really hard. It's really hard to track any team if you don't have a resource like this. And I swear I've been turning over every single stone and asking everyone. And I was told by someone at the club, this doesn't exist. So I've been banging my head against the wall trying to figure out, okay, how can we make this exist? And now we don't have to, because it's already there. Hey, what if we bring in a newbie? All right, you guys like that? A newbie, and this is a self-proclaimed newbie. All right, this is not me calling him new, but he's an investor like we are, and this is our show. As the club is our club, and let's welcome Mark George to the show. So,
good afternoon.
And he looks very official.
Yeah. Yeah, newbie's a very, very good word.
Well, I used it because you used it in a text, so that's why I said newbie.
Yeah, I think Scotty hit it well. There's a lot of things I'm still on the group chats and everything else, just learning, just picking up.
I think all of us are. So how did you how much of a newbie are you? How long have you been involved with the club? How long have you been an investor? How long have you
I
followed the
I
club?
am in I think month 2 as an investor.
Okay.
So still again, it was one of those opportunities, did some background reading on it and saw the opportunity of it. Been kind of being in the US, obviously we have to call it soccer. People get confused with helmets and uh, oddly shaped balls. Um, but it was a wonderful opportunity to kind of see more of the sport beyond just in the US of MLS and the English Premier League and other places I've had the opportunity to travel around the world. It's truly the sport of the globe.
Yeah, I got to point something out. We should be paid by the Rangers for any merchandise sold because look at us. We are literally showing off 4, 5, 6 different pieces of merch right now.
Sponsorships are getting free plugs.
I know. Oh, you got
That,
the kits and everything. I just went with the lazy golf pullover.
that's what I've been saying. We should have like
Um,
a crazy amount of money for the transfer window coming up with all the American merchandise they're selling.
Andy, show everybody the breast cancer kit that you got because that is badass, and I'm a little
yeah,
bit.
Oh, that is cool.
this is
That
awesome.
is very nice.
Yeah, so this is Cody James jersey that I won in the auction for the breast cancer awareness game. So it's definitely I got to get a frame and get on my wall in my office. But yeah, just got it yesterday, and it's amazing to have. So yeah, hopefully everybody else that won it has them on the way. But look out when the team does some other auctions. It's definitely worthwhile.
Hey, Steven, pull up the Carrick Rangers U.S. shop and just have it on standby. Don't just pop it on the screen, but pull it up because there's some other really cool merch. I don't know if you saw the breast cancer black and pink or purple T-shirts and sweatshirts. So I got some of those from my wife and my kid, and they're incredible. They're really, really, really super cool. Oh,
Yeah, the
but
merchandise is very, very, I would say it's very into hip. And I think you know the sports the shoe sponsors should be paying us too.
exactly. Yes. Yeah, we like you, newbie. You're a keeper for sure. How long you been following the sport? Who do you root for? What's your background?
From a sports standpoint, I actually started to latch on a few years ago to the English Premier League. My oldest son, who's just recently got married, he kind of turned me on to it. He traveled around a lot, spent a lot of time in Mexico, and was like, "Dad, we don't understand sports here in the U.S. until you see international soccer." And in the U.S. you see the World Cup every 4 years, and you kind of tune into it. But to be able to watch some of the Premier League and the Championships League, and just start to see the skill level and the attention that the fans play, and just the sheer volume. Um, the last 2 years, I've had the opportunity to travel a lot through the UK. Made a couple of matches there. Got to see just. I would say went to a Southampton match against Man City last year, and I asked the coworker I was going with. I said, "So where's this quote the supporter section?" And he looked at me and said, "It's right there." And he pointed at the stadium, and I said, well, no, isn't there a section that the supporters sit in?" He goes, "Yeah, no, the only section we don't sit in is the where the visiting team sits, and we just curse at them anyway, so it doesn't matter." And it's just incredible. And at that point forward, it was hook, line, and sinker. And then here in San Diego, we actually this year we just got an MLS team, so it just kind of added to it. You can see all the stuff I've got around me. My wife seems to think I'm obsessed. I don't know what she's talking about, but it's a great just from an international standpoint, I could say probably Man City. I did the whole where's my bloodline from, and I guess I could pretty much say that I don't know who was in my family, but man, they traveled the European areas very well. I I got a little bit of every. I'm a mutt of the European countries.
So let me ask you this: did you do a San Diego game this season?
I did. I did quite a few. I actually was one of the first season ticket holders.
Fantastic. So, how much different does it feel in Europe than it feels in San Diego or anywhere else in the United States?
Oh, it is night and day. I would say we're a good probably 30 years behind the curve, if not more, just from a passion. In Europe, one of the things, especially in the English Football League, you're born into the team. It's not like, here we got a team, it's in San Diego, great. I love it. It's great. We have such an influence. I'm 40 minutes from the border of Mexico. We have such an influence from Mexico. Um, but to see just the passion is just enormous. For US fans, it's still an adjustment. I kind of look at it and go, that where the US adopted the real football vibe was on the women's side, because as young boys, everybody played baseball, basketball, or football. Nobody played soccer. The girls played soccer. Well, look what that developed as a world known team that we've put on the field from a women's standpoint. The men are 30, 40 years behind that curve. So it's hard in the US because there's so many things you can pick from to go watch. You got so many different professional sports. It's almost, there's almost too much you can do. But then when you get to that passion line where you see, a Southampton, you see a Wrexham, you see these markets just explode. You, I I made the joke. I was in Milan last year, and I wanted to be kind of that guy that shows up in the office that first day and be the cool guy. So I bought an intern Milan scarf, and I walked in the office, and I never have been looked at so heinously and was told, "You're wearing the wrong color. This is AC land." I was like, "Oh, there's two teams." Kind of played it off a little bit, but wow, I thought they were going to put me back on a plane and ban me for coming back.
You should have let them know that you could strangle them with that scarf. So they're gonna
I,
wear.
I could. Well, the next meeting I had a AC Milan scarf on. They said, "Okay, then we will continue this meeting."
Oh,
Listen, yeah, the vibe over there is crazy. Anybody seen the Sunderland Till I Die documentary? I mean, I watched it for the first time a month or so ago, and the very first opening, the very first episode, the parishioners are filtering into church, and the priest is leading them in an incredible prayer before Almighty God for their football team. I'm like, I thought the Alabama Auburn rivalry growing up in the Deep South had passion. I was like, wow.
Yeah, there's not a lot of it's very college esque when you think about the passion, because you go to university, you're there, you're part of it. Professionally, I mean, there's very few teams where you have that passion. It's, the Green Bay Packers, it's the Steelers, where you have that, you're born into that type of passion. You just don't have it in everywhere. And most people, I would say, from a professional sports, have never seen it, have never felt that, the fact that here on the MLS side, we get nasty grams if you chant anything that is not TV worthy. And in Southampton, man, when that referee blows the whistle, it is no holds barred. It is, and I'm like, wow, I love this. This is the greatest day of my life.
how were the crowds in San Diego for the club this year? Was it sold out or close to sold out all season long? Or
We were fourth in the entire league with attendance this year. It was incredible. Um, Again, being having that Mexico influence was huge. The Latin community. One of our first signings was a Mexico international star, so he came on board early, and it just we had a really good turnout. We averaged about 28,000 throughout the whole year. And what I gauge it on is if we're playing at the same time the Padres are playing, what's the turnout? And we still averaged in the high uh, 20,000 range. So it was very impressive. Uh, Everybody here's turned on to it. It still hasn't really gravitated to the level of the whole city because San Diego's it's city wise it's pretty large, but county wise it's huge. So it's still growing. The stadium is still relatively new. It's um, San Diego State's University where they built the new football where the old Qualcomm Chargers used to play. So it's getting there. For year one, couldn't ask for anything more to get into the playoffs. Um, the good thing is if you guys saw the announcement, MLS is going to make the change in 28 or 27 to transition to the international schedule, which I think will be a big help. You can't be taken serious if your seasons don't even align. So that'll open some new doors. I think right now MLS is kind of it's either the starting ground for some of the 2B stars or it's the retirement community for the retiring European stars. This is where they go to retire, the Messis of the world. And yes, Scotty, you can, take that Messi shirt and throw it in your backyard.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Messi, so Chris Lippett, that's one drink. You said you had to drink every time that Messi was mentioned. So, Mark, what research have you done on Carrickfergus? Were you familiar with it before you invested, and do you plan on getting to the summit in the spring, or at least at some point next year?
Some point next year, I'm probably going to target the start of the 26-27 season. Um, the good thing is my work allows me to be traveling around the country, around the world, so I can make it a business trip at some point if I have to. I go to India about 4 times a year, and I've got to stop somewhere in Europe. So I always go, where do I want to go? Do I want to go, Amsterdam? Or if I go to the UK, I go based on what the schedule is. I hope nobody from work is on this, so they could say, hey, that's why you always schedule. You leave on a Friday, you get there on a Saturday, and you're at the stadium by 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. Yeah,
You've never had to explain a 5-day layover before?
Nope.
No.
What I always say is if I got to be on a plane over a weekend, I'm going to definitely go where I want to go. To your first question, I started to kind of really look at not just necessarily the team. I was really looking at the league itself and understanding what does the league shape look like? What is the league's goal? What are they trying to become? Because one of the things I was looking at was, the Rangers could be phenomenal in their own right, but if they're in a league where it doesn't have that opportunity for growth, that opportunity for sizing up, then you're only going to be as big as the group around you. Um, and that was one of the key things I really wanted to look at was who else is in the league. Yeah, right now we're at the bottom, but that's irrelevant to me. It's kind of, for me, it's like watching year one of something and watching it grow and start to really, if you're, really start to develop into something bigger. And the community has been very interesting. That's kind of what I listened to the most was, if no offense to anybody in ownership or the organization, you're going to get probably some talking points. What I really wanted to hear from is this community here. What are people saying about it? What is the thought process? Where do you agree? Where do you disagree? Where do you think the opportunities are? Is the leadership in the right place? And those are the things that are probably the most important thing to me. And what I see is it's not just investing in a club; it's investing in the community. And where that organization sits is phenomenal. Um, it really can become something like a destination.
Yeah. And that, the recent decision where the United Kingdom has the grant money that they're filtering into a lot of these smaller clubs, that we're going to get, what do you say, between 3 and 5 million euros worth of, or pounds. What do they use in Britain or UK? Whatever.
Pounds. They're back. They're back to
Okay.
pounds.
So yeah, so stuff like that is very important because as you're digging around on what you want to get how you want to get involved, it's like that's got to be a positive that you're looking for. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
the league can have a vision and some goals, and now there's some support and funding to play with to get you to there. So that's very good, because a lot of, like me, I didn't do a whole lot of research. I was like, oh wow, okay, I'm Irish background. Boom, here's a couple $100 or whatever to get going, and but it's good because I think Michael Smith and them value people that are doing what you're doing and really learning about what the team wants to do, because that's the ones that are going to really carry. That's why they reached out to us, because we're the ones that's going to help carry the foundation of where this is going to be in 10 years. So thank you for your
Right.
insights on that.
No, and I love the idea of a new stadium. Again, investing in anything they do with that club, with that location, is all about it's building the community outward, and that's probably the most important aspect of it. And that's just cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
already picked my seat. I can already see where I'm going to sit.
yeah, and that's going to be a big improvement with the new stanza and everything. I know sometimes watching the games on TV or on the online on One Football, sometimes I know it's conflicting in terms of the crowd reaction, that it's usually at a place where a lot of the away fans are gathered. But I think this is going to give us a lot more of a home field advantage. And then, yeah, to your point, the entire league is going to really be getting a lot more from this. And yeah, there's a big opportunity for the league to grow in Europe a little bit and kind of move up the ranks a little bit too. Maybe they're not going to be, the English Premier League, but there's, quite a lot of ways that we can step up in Europa and Champions League and kind of get some revenue there too. So definitely a big thing there. Kind of curious with all your traveling, and I tend to do the same thing with work, although a little bit more domestically. So actually might be in San Diego in a couple months. My brother lives down there, and we have an office down in California. But I was curious from your travels, is there a team or like stadium you've been most impressed with so far that you've gotten to visit?
Um, from an international standpoint, the Man City facility is I mean it's top notch. I mean, it's kind of like it's the creme de la creme. You got an owner who um, is not afraid to spend money. He owns the New York FC, and they're getting a brand new stadium that looks a lot like the stadium in Manchester. So that one was probably from my limited travels so far, from going to different locations. That was probably the top. But from really just kind of being a part of it, I, I really like the smaller stadiums. I really like the Southamptons, the Leicesters, the smaller, what I would say is probably better fits to what the US is doing right now as well, with some of the stadiums they're building for MLSs. What I would refer to them as, this is more of the European style. You're not doing three decks high. There's not a nosebleed section. Everything is on top of the field,
Yeah.
and you're there and you're a part of it. Minnesota has a great stadium. Um, Houston has a really good stadium. I had a chance to go see that one. Portland has a decent stadium. So I see this as again, as these owners invest in these locations, they're investing again in the community. Um, what, I'm not sure what the capacity is of our new stadium there that's going in with the Rangers, but the whole concept of it is it's putting you in a position where it's somewhere you want to go.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have a medieval castle nearby on the beautiful waterfront either.
That is again, building something with something that, I mean, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. And you mentioned the community. You're interested in what the community's saying, and I think that's what makes this one stand out compared to any of the other crowdfunding, WeFunder, similar things that I've dabbled in over the last year plus that I started. Is the Carrick Rangers community on the American side is turning almost. I got like 2 new brothers over here, plus 5 more that are going to be on other episodes. It's amazing how we've hit it off, and there's a trust factor, and you just enjoy talking. And with that, I don't want to fail to mention we have the new International Supporters Club that is developing. Martin Benson. Hopefully, we can have him on in the near future. But we're wrapping some things up. The new tagline for our group is "Together We Rise." So the 12th Ranger International Supporters Club, "Together We Rise," won the vote. The logo will be voted on soon, and then maybe we can have Luker put up a nice graphic for us. But yeah, I think things are being taken serious. We're not just something for Michael to milk money out of. I think he's serious about it. I think that's all we can see. Nobody has said anything otherwise. I think it's being taken serious, and it's something that we can be a part of. And anyway, Andy, what do you think?
Has Court banged out a song for the supporters club yet, or no?
Not that I know of, but he'll probably do it. He's probably going to watch this, and I'll have it for us by the end of the weekend.
Might have no, who knows?
It's a great idea. Yeah, actually, Scotty's got a couple really good candidates for the logo that look really sharp.
Yes.
Everyone's already lining those up to get on jackets and everything. That like that. If that varsity jacket gets made, I'm buying like 10 of them, so I've got them for a lifetime because those would look beautiful. But no, that's a really important point. And yeah, what Martin has going is good. I think the song idea, AJ, is a great idea. So we got to get Court on that. But that's been a really great thing, just to get to know all of you and other podcast members, Michael Becker, who's joined us. But then, Jody Hill, we had on the show from the team. Really, there's been a great thing where everybody's really invested locally and internationally to, kind of be like, where can we help out with things? Where can we grow things? And I know there's been a little feedback from other teams in the league that they're like, how are you guys doing this? They're kind of a little envious of what we have going on. And to Mark's point, from the long term, we're getting some stuff in place. The stadium's going to get there, and in a few years, we just all keep growing this together. There's a long way ahead for the team and the league that I think we have coming forward, which is really exciting. That it's maybe a little bit of money we all have invested, but just to be able to kind of have that money in to be on the journey and watch this go is going to be amazing to see where we're on, like podcast number 108 or something, where we're going to be at that point.
What seems really exciting to me, and from a conversation I had with Michael, is the growth in the United States for the team. All right, so I just looked because I've got Twitter open over here to my right, and I looked. And it was at 5,400 people watching this thing when I looked 2 minutes ago. Now it's at 5,600. That's pretty cool. And the question that I have for all three of you, I guess, because I'm the newest guy to soccer. I mean, if there's a newbie, it's me when it comes to this sport. But to me, I feel like soccer is about to explode in the U.S. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm down here in Miami and we got the Cup final in a couple of days and then all the World Cup stuff, the draw. But I just feel it from a guy that didn't even know soccer existed a year and a half ago to right now. It seems like everything I see is soccer, 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 soccer. And everyone I talk to is talking about soccer. Is this just because I'm so green, or is this really happening?
It's happening in spots. Like, it's little bitty areas like San Diego. I mean, why haven't they had a team? And that's huge. Up here in Sacramento, because I'm about 2 hours north of Sacramento, Wilton Rancheria just bought the majority interest of Sac Republic. Sac Republic is a very competitive USL team. They beat San Jose all the time in the Jägermeister Cup. I mean, I don't know if they'll ever go MLS, but they're building a brand new stadium that they've already broken the ground in a great location in Sacramento. It's the capital of California. And I've been to several games down there, and they're passionate. That's a really good soccer town. And I would have never known that until I got in, like you, AJ, newer to soccer, and you wouldn't think it. But they have where they're currently at is they have about 12, 13,000 seats. They pack it out. It's virtually about 95%, almost sold out every game. And the new stadium is built like Mark was talking about in a more of a European style with a little bit of chance to it.
I think you froze.
That's that Northern California bandwidth.
Northern California.
To kind of echo on what Scotty was saying, my experience, I kind of started, initially following just from the FIFA game. It's actually the reason Arsenal's like the first team I got into, where when the graphics were not so good and it was very pixelated, just kind of happened to work that you had a good team and the jerseys looked a little different with the white sleeves, even though I don't know if the graphics were good enough to tell they were sleeves. But from going to the pub at like 6 a.m. to just following it in the paper, like Michael Becker said, to now it's just so much more accessible on TV. And then Mark and Scotty said, it's kind of getting more accessible here where they're trying to create that culture. It's maybe not going to be, the Barcelonas or that anytime, but it is in those spots and people are getting more invested and feeling more connected to the clubs. And I think especially San Diego, Mark can speak to it more, but the time my brothers lived down there and I visited them with losing the Chargers, kind of everyone's really rallied behind the Padres as like, this is our local team. And I think there's a huge opportunity there where they can get a lot of that market share for craving for sports and really, build that out where that's truly like a hometown team.
Yeah, you're spot on. One of the challenges with this has been a 5-year journey to get an MLS team here. So it's always been kind of this push. The biggest challenge was stadium funding, and then most importantly was, this whole debacle with the Chargers. So every time I see a Charger fan, I thank them because if they don't leave, we don't get an MLS team. So, if it wasn't Dan Spanos' greed, we would not have a team. At the same time, we've got to be, from a U.S. standpoint, and I totally agree, Scotty, with what you're saying. There's got to be a point where we've got to come up with what is U.S. soccer going to look like, and it is in spots. It is growing. It is, I go through a lot of airports. I don't see a lot of, the local MLS gear. I kind of make fun of it when I go to like Minnesota. I'll wear my San Diego FC gear because nobody is wearing Minnesota, you know, United stuff, or even in Chicago, you can see all the Bulls and White Sox and Cubs, but you won't see a whole lot of fire out there. But I do see the opportunity for growth. My biggest concern with the U.S. market is a division of fans between the two leagues, between USL and MLS. And I think there's an opportunity to really create a true structure to get to more of that European international style of approach to where we can start to get introduced to some of these big club tournaments, some of these, the club championships, the annual championships games where you've got the best and the best all playing when they're top four in their leagues. That is really where I see the next 10, 15 years going. But we're just puppies in this whole adventure. You've got, I mean, we're talking about an organization we're invested in since 1939, which started with a bunch of guys just kicking a ball around and then saying, "Hey, we're pretty good at this. Why don't we challenge the guys down the street?" And before you know it, it's created a vibe. It's its own identity, and it is really, really exciting to hear that there's that much interest in the U.S. for the relatively small group within a league that is still growing. But I would love to see the Ireland League become part of the overall um, English Football League, wherever it falls within the pyramid, but let it be a part of that overall structure. Um, and that would be really cool to see because I think it can become more than just regional. I think it can be um, more of a global approach to the sport.
What blows my mind, and I'm going backwards here for a minute. So, obviously, I've been all in on MLS here this season, and I'm watching every MLS game I can get my eyeballs on, and it's over. It's over in 2 days.
Mhm.
So I Googled the USL. I mean, I knew there was a USL, but I had no idea.
There's a Miami team there.
Yeah, there's multiple teams here. There's a Fort Lauderdale team coming, and the Miami team's really really far. Miami's, I mean, you guys are in California. It's like driving through LA. That's Miami. It's a kind of a combination of New York and LA and Atlanta and probably what no, I don't know. It's just it's brutal. But the point that I was going to make is USL is, I get that MLS is the sort of main league in the United States, but USL is huge. And as I started looking and research, it's just a matter of time before the USL and the MLS just kind of have to merge at some point here. Is that where we're going to get to in 5 or 10 years?
I would say the one really interesting aspect to it, which it's kind of maybe the other guys have some thoughts on it, but one of the big things is I believe USL is going to have promotion relegation system, which is more used to like what we're used to in Europe, and it makes it so exciting because those bottom teams are fighting for their lives at the same time. So you're really invested in every game, and yeah, how that works with the MLS being bigger right now and not having that, I'm not really sure how that's going to play out, especially given you have all these owners that probably don't want to have the threat of relegation, and that's going to be attractive for the USL fans to have that fight. Mark, Scotty, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Go ahead, Scotty.
I got distracted by Chris Lippett. You're talking about relegation and U.S. owners not liking having to worry about relegation.
Well, the team that I cover is not getting relegated, so I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah.
I think you're set to actually, to Mark's point before about the airports, that you don't see a lot of Chicago Fire stuff when I hit O'Hare Airport, which I'll be at tomorrow, but you do see the Messi jerseys everywhere. And also just to go to the back to the point on the growth of the league, that's where you go to the mall or wherever, there's little kids that are wearing their Messi stuff everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And and then that exposure, now that there's the TV, I think, maybe it's not going to ever overtake the NFL here, but maybe it's a niche sport, but it's definitely growing a lot in a lot of places.
Yeah, the investment that obviously with Apple TV, with MLS, is a really big deal. And now for next year, it's not going to be a separate subscription package. It's going to be part of Apple TV. Again, it's just bringing more audiences to the different teams. So now you can watch your favorite team wherever you are. So it's getting much more around that same, NFL Sunday ticket type thing, where it doesn't matter where you are, you can see your team. The good thing is Apple TV works all over the world, so I get to watch whatever I want to watch when I'm, at 3 a.m. If I'm going to watch my team play, I'm going to be up at 3 a.m. and watch my team play. But from the, where does it head? I think the challenge is going to be the money involved in MLS, and the investment owners make in MLS is ginormous. San Diego's a great example. We have a billionaire owner that's, he's not a U.S. sports guy. He's a soccer guy. He's got the Right to Dream Academy. He's perfect for this type of, community to build a team in, because you look at it as, it's the US, but we sit on the Mexico border. We're technically like an international audience, and that's great. So I would like to see USL and I like to see them be more partnering versus competing for the audience. Because to Scotty's point, you're right. They're building beautiful stadiums all over the place. It's a it's a very large league. They've got a grassroots approach where you have the local region, the little, local regional activity, and that you can build up into a team. So that's really what it's going to come down to is how does that work and how does the owners that typically are invested in this, how are they going to play nice?
Yeah, because the USL, they're bent on doing the relegation system here, what, in the next year to 2 years?
Yeah, they just got a what are they calling it? A League One. They're
Yeah,
creating the
and
League One to get that structure.
yeah. So that doesn't seem like they're coming together.
Yeah,
But
it seems like they're each going in their own, but you never know. Time will tell, and but I think just the sport itself, AJ, back to your point, it is exploding in certain areas, and you see the kids with the Messi jerseys, and yes, I wish I was there in Miami this weekend, but we didn't make it past Vancouver, but that's okay. I'm only bitter a little bit.
Don't be bitter. It's better to lose last week than to get annihilated this week. That's the way I look at it. So I don't know. Hey, real quick, while we're on this, and then we'll wrap because we're about out of time. But any predictions for this weekend? Or everybody's got to have a prediction. I mean, Andy, where are you at this weekend?
I'm going to say that, I mean, I think it's definitely going to be Miami. I think Messi gets at least a couple goals, given he had a slow one last time that doesn't last too long. So I'm going to go 3-1 Miami with 2 goals for Messi.
Mark?
I got knocked off again. My connection.
What was that, Scotty?
I got just my connection goofed up there. I'm going to say Messi's going to score a pair. It's going to be 4-1 Miami.
Oh, well, I can't follow the lead on this one. Having the opportunity of watching Vancouver last weekend live, and then watching a lot of Miami this year as well on TV, I will say that if Vancouver comes out and does what it did to San Diego, which is play fast and they can get up early, I think Miami will be chasing. And that's one of the things with Miami is they can be got real quickly with goals. I'm I'm going to say Miami pulls it off, but I think it's going to be probably more like a 3-2 because I think Vancouver is going to they're going to have to go fast, which is going to be really good for them on the front end. But I think in the second half, they're going to get exposed. And Vancouver doesn't really have a choice. They won't be in it if they sit back and put 5 in the back and say, we're just going to stop Messi from scoring. That won't work.
And again, I know that you guys have forgotten more about the sport and the game that I even know at this point, but this is a different Inter Miami team since the playoffs began than it was the whole season. And I'm going to tell you, everybody's calling for Messi to brace here. Let's have Allende, because that's the MO now. Is Messi's just feeding Allende? We had a hat trick last week, so I'm thinking Messi's definitely going to score because he didn't score last week, and that's unheard of. Messi and Allende both to have 2 goals.
All right, so what you're saying 4-0?
5-1.
Oh, 5-1. All right, so we got a
5-1.
3-1, 4-1. You're saying 5-1, and I'm going to go 3-2. I think it's going to be a track meet. I guess that's probably the best way. It is going to be a track meet. It is going to be it's going to be just insane how fast this game's going to go. I don't see any of them sitting back and trying to play any type of an offensive structure. It's going to be get the ball, go.
Well, let's hope, because that's exciting. Oh, and then we start. I'm not going to make an end of a podcast. What is that?
Nicholas having to take a drink for every time Messi is mentioned.
Oh,
So
wow.
He's
not going to make it to the end of the no, he's not. Sorry. That was Messi at least 10 times. Well, there's 11 times.
There's another one.
So if we could get an ambulance somewhere in Texas, that would be kind of helpful right now.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start the day Saturday morning. Some of you guys earlier than other ones. Yes, watching the Carrick Rangers. Okay. And then Andy's going to be going to the Iron Maiden Drummers Bar. Is that correct?
You're gonna go see Nico.
Oh, we got a lot to talk about. I got to catch up with you sometime. But yeah, I'm going to Nico McBrain's Rock and Roll Ribs for his anniversary party, and hopefully get to meet him.
Nice. I got my Maiden scarf back there on my scarf rack somewhere.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got to go to the show at West Ham Stadium this summer, but we'll save that for another time.
And we'll end up with the MLS Cup in the afternoon, and then you're free to do whatever you want in the evening. We're not gonna tell you what you have to do in the evening. But Rangers first thing, MLS, some Iron Maiden in the middle, and that's it. We're out of time. So, Scotty, final word.
I think the Rangers are going to shock the world, and we're going to walk away with at least 1 point Saturday.
More
And
shock if the Rangers win. Or,
They're going to shock the world, and they're going to walk away with at least a point. I'm going to say 1-1.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Next week, we'll be back. Same time, same place, different faces. Thank you, Mark, so much for joining us tonight. Hope you had as much fun.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And thank you, Scotty. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And next Thursday, 7 p.m., we'll be back for more Carrick Rangers.